All right, it says I'm live, I'm alive. Hey, everybody, welcome once again to Astronomy Daily Live. So this is the Obs-Session here, Obs-Session for February 24th, 2019. So hope everybody's doing well today out there in the universe and the world. Things are good here. Things are cold. Love the red. Yes. Hey there, Venus and Mars. Nice to see you. You can see that I'm dealing with a 20. Can I shine that on there? 27.1 degrees Fahrenheit already. That stupid thing keeps switching around. And now it's not switching at all. There it goes, 27.3 degrees. So it's already cold. It's already pretty humid out here, but all is well. And actually, this isn't gonna be a very long obs session uh, tonight here in southeastern Arizona, but it is beautifully clear. Just looking at the twinkling of the stars, that gives me a sense of the seeing, right? How transparent the sky is, and I'm looking at. Actually, I'm seeing a satellite going right by Betelgeuse right now, some kind of satellite. I'm I'm seeing some pretty good twinkling, so this isn't great, but I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I've had yesterday Venus and Mars. It snowed here most of the day, which is not incredibly unusual, but it does uh, make people a bit nervous. So no, it is not nice. It is not nice in the least. So, but the great thing about snow here in southern Arizona, the best thing about snow here is that it does not last. Right? That is the best thing ever. I mean, it's all gone, right? I mean, it snowed at least a couple inches yesterday, and it's gone, right? It's gone. It was a beautiful day, all day today. I knew that it was going to be clear, so here I am. Here I am doing the obsession. So, and it definitely is an obsession um, of sorts, but it has a goal, right? It has a goal, and that is scientific inquiry. I'm just not doing this because, merely because it's fun and what I like, but but I'm actually going to be doing some science with this data that I'm collecting, and the first the first stage in doing science is very very oftentimes making observations, collecting data. So that's exactly what I'm doing tonight, and tonight's work is moving me in sort of a direction that needs to go anyway in terms of doing proper photometric measurements, right? Measuring the brightnesses of objects, be it stars, be it galaxies, it doesn't matter, right? When you're measuring the brightnesses of things, that is extremely important. And one of the important things is to be able to, hey there, Earth Radio. What, what? Um, yeah, if the audio is bad or anything, let me know. I can probably scooch this up a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm just sort of waiting for things to get dark. I'm currently in uh, in astronomical twilight. I've got probably another 20 minutes or so before it's actually dark. Anyway, so in order to properly, hey there, Tom, nice to see you. Um, in order to properly do photometric measurements, they have to match sort of the photometric standards, right? And there are several photometric um, standards that are out there. One of them is called Johnson-Cousins, and these are a set of five filters, five wavelengths with certain wavelength bands that are called U, B, V, R, and I, and those are commonly used. There are several others. There's some Sloan filter sets, which are also U, B, V, R, and I, but they're lowercase. Um, so uh, the idea is that when I collect data here, right, I need to either one use the correct filters, or given the filters that I have, I need to be able to transform between what I'm doing and these standards. So that is sort of today's exercise, um, is to see um, how that um, can be done. So what I've done and what I'm going to be doing tonight. Now I don't have the normal Johnson Cousins UBVRI filters, right? On my filter wheel right now, I have R, G, and B, red, green, and blue, right? And these are commonly used for like um, uh, um, um, astronomical uh, um, uh, um, astrophotography, right? And no, I do not have the normal Johnson colors. so, yeah, and with all due respect to the big Lebowski, no, this is a this is definitely a different kind of Johnson for sure. so, um, a little a little older, a little wiser Johnson in this case. So, so tonight's exercise is to collect some photometric data with my green filter, right? With my green filter, which is very, very, very close to Johnson V, as in violet. Um, Now the Johnson V filter is centered around uh, 5,500 angstroms, and I think has a bandwidth of about 200 angstroms or so, something like that. The green filter that I'm going to be using tonight is a little bit shorter than that. I think it's around 5,200 or so, and it's just a slightly different profile. But the hope is that I'll collect this data tonight, right? And then on a preceding night, it's actually supposed to get cloudy again here for the next couple of nights, but we'll see. On a preceding night, I will also take some red filter data, right? And that is relatively close to the Johnson R um, standard filter. With that information, so with magnitudes and colors, right, I will be able to hopefully properly transform my magnitudes to the standard magnitudes. So that is sort of the exercise at hand. So I guess the only other uh, change to what I'm doing, right? So I'm looking at a different wavelength, right? I'm actually looking through a filter. Up until now, I haven't been using any filters at all. Um, so now I'm looking through a filter, which cuts the amount of light out by about a factor of three or so, maybe even a little bit more, like a factor of four. So what I've decided to do is a couple of things, or at least one thing. Instead of no binning on my CCD camera, right? Instead of doing full frame um, images, what I've decided um, to do is to switch to 2 by 2 binning, right? So instead of every, well, what that'll do is it'll, uh, on camera, it'll actually take a 2 by 2 grid, right? 2 pixels high, 2 pixels wide, and it will add those four, and spit it out as one, right? So so um, so I'm gonna get about 1/4 of the area, or 1/4 of the size that I normally get in a 1 by 1 binning. But what that does is it just sort of helps with the signal, right? So I'm hoping that, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to look at it, but I'm thinking that I might go to 2-second exposures too. I've been doing 1-second exposures primarily, but if the tracking is good and I can get away with 2-second exposures, I'm gonna do that for sure. So it's still pretty light here, pretty light. So I'm just sort of hanging here. I've actually got the telescope pointed at Messier 48 right now, just because. Um, all right, Venus and Mars, take care, and I will see you later. You come on in anytime you want. Of course, you're always welcome. So, peace, cheers, and all that. Bye. All right. Um, so yeah, uh, just to sort of have scope pointed at um, something else. Uh, um, uh, I've got it pointed at least in the vicinity of M48, but my target object tonight, once again, is M46, right? And M46 is nice because it has a nice selection of stars. It's a very, very rich open cluster. And it has a bonus object, right? It has a bonus object, a little planetary nebula. Don't quote me on the NGC number here, but I think it's 2248, 246, 2248, something or other, right? So so uh, so yeah, well that's where I am at the moment. As I said, it's still getting dark. Um, there's no moon until I think just sort of go, hey there, Carolina, Carolina Sky Astronomy, nice to see you. So let's switch over and do that right now. Hopefully, without too many obstacles in the way. It's always a little bit of a challenge to get it in here exactly the way I want, but I think we're good there. So I'm going to point this up like that. Get you over there. Nice to see you, Carolina Sky Astronomy. Welcome. So I'm going to be looking at M46 tonight, and it's going to be a short. It's going to be a short and sweet. One of the advantages of going to 2 by 2 binning is that my download time increases by a factor of 4. So, so yeah, this is actually going to be pretty short and sweet tonight. Um, but as I said, I've got another 10 minutes or so um, before um, I can actually start some serious observations. But there's a little bit of M48. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. Uh, wow, it doesn't actually look like you can. I've uh, I've also turned my smartphone down, the brightness down, quite a bit. Hey there, Atta. Nice to see you. How long does it usually take for Sky and Telescope? Get started. I paid for 2 years worth on January 11th, and I've received so far as an offer to buy another year. Yeah. Um, I know you're asking Tom that, but I would say that it's probably going to take a couple of months to kick that in. So yeah. I mean, if you haven't gotten anything going by April, then I'd start complaining a little bit about that. So can you all see that? Okay? Can I mean, it's a little bit small, right, and a little bit faint, but we're seeing a line of stars here. Is that moderately acceptable? I mean, I can go to the regular view, right, like that. I can do that. Yeah. The focus is just absolutely fabulous. These are 1 second exposures, and things look pretty bright. And actually, the tracking looks really good too. I'm pretty happy with the tracking. Wow. It's tracking down a little bit, right, as you can see, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's a a beautiful clear sky tonight. Dark. Um, Seeing is kind of average, right? It's not bad. It's not very good. So, but it is definitely getting dark. I've got the Milky Way right overhead. So, yeah, in this electronic age, Atta, I would sort of think that that might happen a little faster. So you're right, I guess, to be a little concerned, but um, yeah, I'd give it at least another month. So yeah, yeah, very cool. All right, well, hope everybody's doing well out there. Looks like I'm actually gonna switch really quick to the 2x2 just to sort of see what that looks like. So I'm gonna go there, take another series, scooch this guy over. It's gonna be 4 times as large. That's not too bad. Okay. Tracking is a little funky, but yeah, that's not too bad. I can live with that. Hope you all can see that all right. So let's we can actually move over to M46. Get get ready here. Get ready for the big go here. So let's do that. It's not too far away from M48. See how well this thing slews into place. not too bad. Let's now I've got to sort of locate the spot that I want to be, and it's still tracking down pretty hard. I'm gonna go to back to 3x3 because that's a nice quick feedback loop, so I can really steer this thing into the right place. Because I definitely, aha, there we go. Yeah, you see these 4 stars here? Those are sort of my 4 guys. Hey there, Uncle Bill. Nice to see you in the chat. The planetary nebula is actually in this field of view too. So my goal is to basically keep those 4 stars that are right in the center. I'm going to go to a 2-second exposure. I'm going to go to 2x2 and the 2-second exposure and just sort of see what that looks like. See if I get too many streaks. Oh, that's not bad at all. No, I can live with that. Yeah, that looks just fine. That looks just fine. So I've got these 4 stars here, which I'm going to keep sort of there. The planetary nebula itself is actually, if I remember right, is it here or is it? I think it's here. I think it's down here. So I think we're seeing that okay. And yeah, that's a nice 2-second exposure with the green filter. Looks like I was fiddling with the camera mounting again today. In fact, I think what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to switch this to 1x1 just so I can see if there's any funny business with the mounting of the camera. You know, I'm really paranoid about these little streaks. I want those stars to be nice and round, right? And I think yeah, they're a little bit, and I know it's really hard for you all to see this. I've got my nose right up against the screen looking at them. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Okay, so cool. Let's go back to 2x2 binning and 2-second exposures. That'll decrease the size by a factor of, or the area by a factor of 4. Bammo. And 2-second exposures, I think that'll do things just nice. Yeah, I think that'll be just fine. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Okay, cool. I think pretty much ready to get going here. It's the astronomical twilight should be about complete. Getting a little streaky here. Let's see if that settles down. Yeah, okay. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I would like to crank it up a little bit more, but the the tracking won't really allow for it. So what I do instead is I take a bunch of these short exposures, and then I've got software that I've written that will stack these things, right? It'll shift them and rotate the field and then stack them, because the tracking is just as you can see is a little um, too much. So anything more than a 2 second exposure, I'm going to start getting some major streaks, and I definitely don't want that. Definitely don't want that. So scooch him. He's still scooching. Let's see if he settles. Yeah, he settles. Okay. So yeah, basically I just want this box of 4 stars in there. So yeah, I think we're ready to rock and roll here. I'm gonna walk away just for a moment. I'm gonna look at the western horizon to make sure that that I'm actually past astronomical twilight, but it sure looks like I am. So I'll be back in like 30 seconds. I'm gonna bring my red flashlight with me just in case. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Well, except for some pretty fantastic zodiacal light, I gotta say that we are nice and dark. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start going here. I think it's about time. So I'm gonna go over here. I know that you're not gonna be able to see this, but I'm gonna just change my. Wow, I've already got frost on the keyboard. I'm gonna check my front of the telescope. Oh shoot. No, dang it, I'm fogged up. Oh, I'm fogged up, folks. Yeah, I am frosty. Oh yeah. Wow. All of a sudden it just jumped to oh, it just all of a sudden jumped to 81% humidity. 25.3 degrees and 81% humidity. So, well, at the moment I am screwed. So, I did know that it was supposed to, we were supposed to see some pretty high humidity, but now it's up to 84%. Why doesn't this thing stay where it's supposed to be? So now I'm at 84%, which means it is just incredibly wet, dripping wet. All right, well, I'll go back to just taking exposures here and maybe waiting it out a little bit, see what happens. Hopefully this will pass. Get some drier air moving in here, because yeah, right now the front of my telescope's all fogged up. Wow, it's not very nice. Definitely not very nice. Scooch that up a little bit. You can still see the stars, but I've got I've got frost on everything, and the front of the scope is definitely not happy. I'm gonna abort this. Definitely don't want to be shining the telescope down on the. Yeah, so the moment I'm fogged up. Dang it. I was hoping that it wasn't gonna do that. Dang nabbit. Let's see, I'm gonna keep monitoring. Yeah, 84. All frosty. See that for yourself there. 25.5 and 84. It jumped in a matter of minutes. It jumped from 64 to 84. Just bam. Right? So, I'm going to keep an eye on it though. Because 84 84 just isn't going to do it. I wish that was the actual temperature as opposed to the humidity though, because 25.7 degrees is cold. It's also cold. So, yeah, that's, you can't do proper photometric measurements if if the front of your telescope is all fogged up. So, yeah. All right. Well, hang here for a little while. I'm doing the live stream too. So, there's no reason, I guess, not to hang here for at least a little while. See if the humidity drops a little bit. You can be entertained by the little stars on the screen there. The tracking is actually doing pretty well. You know what, Carolina Sky Astronomy? Let's do your 5-second exposure and see what that looks like. So now I'm doing a 5-second exposure, and you can see if the tracking is wow. So the tracking is actually doing pretty darn well right now. So the little planetary nebula there is popping out. I don't know if you can see that or not. So wow, those are 5-second exposures, and they actually look pretty darn good. Wow, I'm impressed. Good suggestion. It's well, one never knows how well the tracking is gonna do, right? So if I can get away with 5-second exposures, um, then I will. You know, with photometry, the 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 stars don't even have to be round. They don't even have to be in focus, right? Because what's important is measuring the light, right? Measuring those pixel values. So, if it's a little streaked, see, that's a little streaked. Um, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Um, I mean, these are a little more streaked than what I really want them to be. But since we don't have anything else to do, we might as well experiment a little bit. I'm gonna take a longer one. I'm gonna take a 15-second exposure. Watch this. and you'll see how poorly the tracking is. I learned that the telescope mount electronics actually updates the mount every 30 seconds. So here goes the 15-second one. Yeah, there you go. So you can see that over 15 seconds, it's not happy. Definitely not happy at all. But the planetary is really popping out there. Here comes another one. Yeah, wow, it's going all over the place. I'm gonna bop this down a little bit. Once this exposure's done, I will move the telescope so all the stars move down. There we go. But yeah, that's pretty useless there. Kind of fun to experiment a little bit with these things. I can I can probably actually maybe get away with 5-second exposures tonight. Wow, that's a cool shot. Man, I wish I should. Maybe I should save these. You know, just for fun. I think I am. I think I'm going to save all of these, and I'm gonna call this M46A because at the moment these are not going to be useful. But let's knock these down to like 5 seconds, and I'll just grab them all. That's a great shot, though, man. I wish I would have saved that one. That looks really cool. Dang. Goodbye. Forever gone. So that's a 5-second exposure. That's not bad. It's not too bad. I'm moderately impressed. You know, the tracking is doing really, really well, and since I'm binning 2x2, that sort of helps a little bit too. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. Um, it's absolutely useless data though, because the humidity has fogged up my. All right, so it's at 83% now. 83%. So it's still too humid, but it's at 83%. So, maybe there's some hope. Maybe there's some hope. Yeah, actually, that doesn't look too shabby for a 5-second exposure. But yeah, if I was unfogged, I would be I would be happier. But that's how it goes. It's the life of an astronomer. So yeah, I'm trying to make some photometric measurements here, and this is sort of the first stage in that, right? Got the green filter on there, and if I can collect data tonight, then I'll go ahead and probably grab a couple hundred frames at least, and then, as I said, I'll stack them all up and go from there, and then I'll take another set on another evening with the red filter, um, and then I'll have photometric data using two filters from which I can get colors, and with that, um, I should be able to see if I can properly transform my magnitudes from these RGB magnitudes to the Johnson V and R magnitudes. Should be able to do that because that's what it's all about. Is these numbers have to be translated to a standard, right? Because everybody has to speak and understand the same language. And if the standard is, you know, Johnson Cousins UBVRI, then I have to um, um, publish my results in terms of UBVRI. Otherwise, it's useless. But yeah, this looks okay. Just have to hope that it unfogs a little bit. I mean, it's perfectly clear out here. Nice, beautiful, clear night, and 80% humidity. And cold. Cold, cold, cold. 20, 25 degrees right now in southern Arizona. Yeah. But the snow's gone, and we're a month away from at least the official date of the first day of spring. So that's always comforting. We have our driest months here in the spring. So between about March and July is our driest months, and yeah, I'm looking forward to those for sure. I'm I truly truly do love everything about my location. Um, but it's cold, right? It's cold. So this is a Celestron Nexstar 8SE telescope, and on the back of it I have an S-Big ST7ME. So it's a old school camera, um, parallel port, and but it's pretty high quality. So and I mean, bottom line is this is what I've got. So I work with the things that I've got, and you know if and when I can upgrade, whatever that means, I probably will. But right now, with photometry that I'm doing, I'm getting accuracies around 20 or 30 millimagnitudes in terms of accuracies. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Um, Shooting raw, don't quite know what you mean by that. I mean, uh, I've got the so-called green filter, the RGB, the G filter in there. These images that you're seeing now, of course, are raw, but I took my calibration data at sunset. I do the famous T-shirt flats. So uh, so yeah, that I've already done, and if I can get some data out of this thing, um, I'll I'll actually be able to measure the magnitudes of quite a few of these stars. There's in this field of view, I can measure about I think there are about 64 stars that are um, 12th magnitude and brighter in this field of view here. That's a nice sample. Um, so I'm going to abort this after this download, and I'm going to check my front of the telescope. Yeah, we're still really foggy. Still really foggy. Let's check the yeah, we're back up to 84%. So we're back up to 84. Whoop, sorry, I don't think you can even see that. There we go. So 25 degrees and 84%, and it's the reason why it's a little bit foggy to see, a little bit blurry, is because there's about an inch of frost on the front of it. So okay, I'll continue to take this data because if nothing else, right? If nothing else, I'll be able to use this data to to test my stacking software, right? So, but I mean, I already know that that works well for the one by one bidding stuff. So there's no reason to think that it's not going to work for this. But yeah, wow, I'm sort of bummed out here with the humidity and stuff. I probably what I'm going to do is I'll end the live stream at the normal time around uh, we'll give it another, you know, 10 or 15 minutes here. Um, and then I am probably just going to I'm probably just going to hang here and wait and see um, what the humidity does. So I've got my own stacking software that I use. I for for no real reason except I'm also a programmer. So yeah, I just sort of I tend to do things on my own um, when it comes to that kind of thing. So yeah, and what I'll do, right, is I will designate either 2 or 3 stars, right? I'll say, okay, I want you to look for this star and this star and this star, right, in every single image, right? And I'll use one image as sort of a reference. I need to scoot that down. This one might be interesting looking. Oh, um, and I'll use one image as a reference, right? So I want those 3 stars, say, to to be at a given location. Hopefully I didn't scooch it down too far. Yeah. So yeah, like like I said, this one, and that one, say, and I want them to be at a certain location, right? Well, I can tell the software where to look. It knows to look for that pattern, and then for each image, it'll find that pattern, shift that image, rotate it because I'm on a alt as mount, so I've got field rotation too. So it shifts it, it rotates it, and it does that on a subpixel basis, right? So whatever it has to do, and then it'll do the stack. So, well, that's a bummer. That's a real bummer. Gotta go. Yeah. Well, thanks, Ate. It's always great to see you here. Hope everything is going well over there on the East Coast. Um, yeah, it's you know, I'm just a victim of circumstances here, right? So, but I'm actually really pleased that I can get some 5-second exposures. Yeah, plate solving is sort of the next step, right? So um, once I've stacked all of these, right, then uh, I can run it through a plate solving piece of software, which I actually use the website astrometry.net, and that locates the positions of the stars, right, and converts the pixel location, pixel values, the XY values to right ascension and declination. And if there's any funny business in terms of you know my field not being totally flat, or anything like that, there are some, I think, some high order terms um, that are done there. So yeah, that's sort of the next step after the stacking. So yeah, well, I'm kind of bummed here. I've got a beautiful clear sky. It's the desert, which um, uh, by definition, right? A desert isn't necessarily a hot place, right? A desert, by definition, is a dry place, um, and so I'm supposed to be in a very, very dry location, and I'm seeing 86% humidity. So it's actually getting a little bit worse. Um, it's stabilized though, slightly, slightly. So I'm gonna, as I said, I'm gonna give this a chance. Um, it's not necessarily a good idea to have all this electronics and stuff out here when it's this wet. Um, but I'm okay with all of that. It's all right. Not necessarily a big deal. I mean, if it was raining, that would be a different a different thing. Um, uh, let's scooch that up a little bit. I'm actually really pleased with these 5-second exposures. I wasn't necessarily expecting um, to be able to do, I wasn't expecting the tracking to be quite this good. So, I mean, part of that is because of the binning, right? Because I'm binning 2 by 2, I'm sort of averaging the blurring out a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm not too upset about that. Um, Problem now is that humidity is killing me, and the um, the brightness of these stars are definitely not what they should be at all. So yeah, kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer. That's how it goes, though. That's how it goes. Life of the astronomer. So yeah, probably what I'm going to do is um, end this live stream in a few minutes, and then oh, there's a cosmic ray right by that bright star. That's gonna ruin the photometry on that star if I used it. Um, uh, so yeah, I'll probably end this live stream in a few minutes, and then I'm gonna give this another half an hour, see what the trend is. Um, yeah, see what the trend is, and decide at that point how I want to proceed, because this is M46, which is very much in my southeastern sky right now. It's I mean, I've got it up for at least the next 3 or 4 hours, right? Now, do I necessarily want to be up that long? Don't know, but um, I'll see what the trend is here. Um, as I said, a high humidity was sort of expected, sort of expected. So I'm not incredibly surprised, although I'm terribly bummed out about it though, because the focus looks good. The, the tracking is actually really really great. So um, so yeah, really kind of a bummer, kind of a bummer. So but yeah, this is the heart of M46, Messier 46. I like to sort of center on these four stars here, right in the middle, because then I get the planetary. And I don't know if you can see it or not, or have been seeing it, but the planetary is down here. So yeah, very very cool. This this setup is upside down and flipped. So on this screen, right? Once I um, yeah, because I've got the camera turned upside down, um, and then the optics are such that there's a let's see, there's an even number of there's an even number. Is there an even number of reflections, primary to secondary? Yeah, there's an even number of reflections. Should it be flipped? Oh, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Definitely have to think about that a little bit. Yeah, really, really a bummer. It's so nice and clear, but the humidity is just killing me. Man, ah, 86% humidity. So it's not changing much. Not changing much. So yeah, what I'm gonna have to do is just, like I said, I think what I'll do is I'll come back out in about half an hour or so and check the humidity, see which way it's going. If it's the same, then maybe I'll give it another half an hour. If it's going down, well, maybe there's hope, right? Always hope. Let's see. It's starting to drift a little bit upwards, so I'm hoping that this next exposure brings it down a little bit. There's some nice star streaks. This should stabilize it. Stabilize on the next one, maybe. There we go. So, yeah, kind of bummed out. Kind of bummed out. The humidity, it's really amazing. The humidity went from 64% to 84% in a matter of like 5 or 10 minutes. Just bam. And wow, that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Still gotten a little tiny bit of an air mass moving through. Didn't feel anything, but yeah, when I looked down and saw the frost on the keyboard there. Now, so my oh no, that must have been a cosmic ray. The hey, deep sky dude, nice to see you in the chat. Hey, I'm at 84% um, um, humidity. So I am shut down. I am not actually collecting any science data at the moment. Carolina Sky Observatory, cool. Thanks for coming in. Always nice to see you there. Um, so yeah, deep sky dude, this is supposed to be the desert, right? I'm in the desert Southwest, and but we've been getting snow and rain, and so the humidity is going to be a little bit high. This sort of was expected, um, but I'm sort of hoping that it starts to drop. So at the moment, as you can see, I'm at 86% humidity and 25.3 degrees. So it's cold and wet here. And so the front of my scope is almost completely fogged over, or frosted over, I guess is the right term. So, um, so yeah, the fact that I'm seeing any stars at all is interesting, but in terms of collecting data for science, yeah, this is useless garbage, right? Um, I'm saving all this data primarily just because. But yeah, it's junk. It's absolute junk. So yeah, other than that, it is perfectly clear here. It is dark. It's calm. The the stars are twinkling a little bit. So the seeing isn't awesome, but it's also not bad. So, but yeah, I'm contending with humidity, and that's how it goes. And at this humidity level, even with a heater on the scope and all that stuff, it's like it's just no. I mean, I mean, yeah, the quality. I'm looking for high quality data, right? I mean, I want photometric accuracies that are you know tens of millimagnitudes, right? And if I can't get that, it's like, well, screw it. I'll just do it another time, right? That's all you got to do. Such is life. Such is life. All right. Well, as I said, I think my plan is that I'm going to end this live stream for today and come back um, in about half an hour or so, and check the conditions out a little bit. Um, if things seem to be drying out, right, then depending on how fast that rate of drying is, I'll wait another half an hour or so. Um, if if it looks like it's going to continue to be humid like this, then I'm going to give it at least another hour, right? I'll come back out in half an hour, and I'll check the conditions. I'll see how things go, and then I'll try again in 30 more minutes, right? Um, if things look like there's a trend towards drying out, then I'll probably hang and wait, right? But if it looks like things aren't going to dry out in like the next 2 hours, then forget it, right? There's just yeah, not this was sort of supposed to be, I mean, I don't necessarily have any hard plans, but you know, I'm collecting data for a purpose, and once I'm done with that, I'm done, right? So if I'm not able to in at least the next couple hours, it's like, well, we'll try again. We'll try again another day or another night. So, okay, well, I think, as I said, I think for now I'm going to exit these waters, switch over to this view. All right. So, all right. Well, I think that's the plan at the moment. So I'm going to get out of here for now. So thanks everybody for coming in. I yeah, you know, we have to deal with nature, and I don't I don't mind, you know, working with nature. Sometimes she throws us things that, you know, we don't necessarily want, but you know, you gotta go with it. So yeah, yeah. This is the fun part. This is the fun part for sure. All right, everybody. Well, take care. Peace, cheers, and all that. And I'll see you. As I said, I think the forecast is supposed to be cloudy here for the next couple of days. So I'll probably be back inside, back in the warm, doing, you know, the regular live stream instead. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Keep an eye on the Discord and Twitter. If you aren't already, that's where I'll usually make any kind of announcements in terms of what I'm going to be doing in terms of the live stream. But yeah, I think it's supposed to be, well, yeah, there's a chance it's going to be clear, but I'm not quite sure. So we'll just have to play it by ear. So, all right, everybody, take care. Let's see, useless trivia. Supernova 1987A today. Huh. Tom, you might want to check that. I think that was in January of 87. Um, you might want to check that information. Um, yeah, I think that might have it might have popped in January of 87. Maybe it was first observed a month later. No, no. Yeah, I'm not. But 87A. That was an exciting time for sure. I've actually got a story about that. Why don't you or somebody remind me to tell you my Supernova 1987A story? Maybe I've told that story before um, on the live stream, but maybe I haven't. I don't remember exactly. But I'll tell you about that. Uh, um, and but yeah, I'm thinking that 1987A was first observed January of 87. So I could be wrong about that though. So yeah, we'll have to uh, we'll have to check that out in more detail. Wikipedia says the date February 24th, 1987. I think that's, you know, I'm not going to argue much, but I think it was January 23rd or 24th. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I don't think I am. Anyways, all right, everybody. Well, take care. As I said, I'm going to keep monitoring my humidity here. Oh no, it's going the wrong way. It's at 88%. Damn. So, yeah. All right. Well, as I said, I'm going to check this out in about half an hour or so and make an evaluation then, and then we'll go from there. All right. Take care, everybody. Peace, cheers, and all that. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you later.